hey, I thought it would be fun to make a video while I'm sitting in a little cave. It's near my house. And what I wanted to talk about was, in our soul contract, we have archetypes that we're drawn to. You can kind of think of it as like being dealt a deck of cards before you're born, that each of the cards is a certain archetype or a role that we're drawn to play in our lives. And lots of people have done work about this. Carl Jung has some great work about it. Carolyn Myss, that's M-Y-S-S, has some really good work about our soul contracts and the archetypes that we're drawn to. And in particular, what I want to talk about today is, if you've been drawn to the role of a teacher or a healer, that you need to have some fairly clear boundaries about who you are willing to teach, what you're willing to teach, when, where, and how you're willing to do it. And let me explain why that's important. So I'll start with the who. If you happen to be single and are looking for that special lifelong partner, and you haven't been clear with the universe and said, yes, I'm a teacher and a healer, but I'm not going to teach or heal my partner, then you might just continually attract broken people who are not able to be the equal partner that you deserve in the world. This is pretty important. So unless you want your mate and your partner in, for instance, raising children and having building a home and all of those things, if you're wanting an equal partner and not a fixer-upper project, then you need to say, hey, yes, I'm a teacher, I'm a healer, but I'm not doing that with my mate. Also in my life, I've found that it's useful to separate friendship from the people that I'm teaching and healing. So I need to know which way am I relating to someone in order to understand the best way to show up in the relationship. If you and I are best friends, it would be really demeaning for me to try and teach you something. You could invite healing from me, but I've invited my friends to stand as equals and to stand on even footing. So it can get tricky in a relationship if we're not both coming at it from the same place. So that's one thing to think about when you've got this teaching, healing archetype. Another thing is, how are you willing to teach? If you're not clear about the how, you could wind up going through some pretty awful times. And maybe your awful time is helping others learn what not to do. But I don't know about you, but I would rather not have a string of awful times. I don't need any more extra trauma or drama in my life. I've had plenty, thank you. So I'm going to say, hey, universe, I'm willing to teach and heal, but only if it doesn't injure myself. That's a good one, I think, to have in your contract. And you can put that in now. It doesn't matter if you hadn't thought of it until right now. Just say it right now. Hey, universe, I'm willing to teach and heal, but not my spouse. And I'm willing to teach and heal, but not at the injury to myself. Okay, now the where, I think, is also important. It might be awkward to bring your certain brand of teaching or healing into your family or your local community, but it might make perfect sense to bring that brand of healing and teaching into an online community. I don't know. It's up to you. I don't know what your gig is. That's my dog crunching through the leaves, if you're wondering. So I'm not telling you what your boundaries should be. I'm just saying, hey, think about Think about the who, the how, the where, and think about the when too. If you want to be as healthy and strong and bright as you can be, then you maybe don't have the juju to teach and heal others during certain phases of your life. And so think about it like having a pause button. So, you know what? Hey, universe, I just had a baby and I want to spend the next couple of years really focused on my baby and my family, so I'm pushing pause on the teaching button. Or, hey universe, I've been on pause with this teaching for a little while, but I'm ready to invite that back into my life. I'm ready to give that again. So you get to have, I hate to use the word control, but really I think that's what it is. You get to manage when, how, where, what you're teaching. You might say, hey, universe, I noticed lately I've been teaching this kind of topic, this kind of work, and I'd really rather get into this other kind of stuff. That's fine too. You're the servant. You're giving your time, your love, and your energy to the people and to the planet through this sacred work. So don't deplete yourself. Pay attention to the boundaries. And then lastly, I want to get back to this idea of the who. I used the words, hey universe, I don't want to teach and heal my spouse. Obviously, I do want to be there for my spouse. With my own situation, I've said, hey universe, I want my spouse and I to be able to learn together and heal one another. That doesn't mean I'm just cutting him off completely. It means that I want to make sure I didn't invite someone who was not on an even footing. I wanted to invite a partner who could learn and grow together. And so if you've been doing healing and teaching work and mixing that in with a variety of relationships, it's useful to start thinking through, how many hats am I wearing with this person? What do I mean by hat? Well, suppose I have a hat that says healer and another hat that says wife and a hat that says best friend and a hat that says boss, because sometimes you're working with these people. You could have a dozen different hats. And in one relationship, you might switch hats 10 times a year, 10 times a day. It's important to be aware and to label the kinds of hats, which is the roles that you're playing in the span of one relationship. So that when you're aware of this, and you can even talk about it with the other person, hey, I hear you asking me for my opinion on this. Are you asking me to wear my high priestess hat, my healer teacher hat, my girlfriend hat? You know, which hat? And I have maintained some friendships well past the stress point by being able to pause and go, wait a minute, we've got too many roles here. Let's stop and check in. And there are some other relationships that got tangled up that I've had to simply put on pause or possibly never return to because we didn't take the time to invest in this kind of clarity. So I want you to be successful. I want you to feel happy and healthy and whole. And I just think it's a really useful idea to think about your relationships and the who, what, when, where, how, and why you would step into your role as a teacher or a healer. So I hope you found this useful, and I've got several other videos on my channel, so check it out. Thanks. Bye.